Hello and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to talk about everything I've been knitting and crocheting this week. It's quite a lot. I've done quite a lot of knitting actually, which I'm quite pleased with myself because last week it was mostly crochet. But thanks to a long cinema visit this week, I've got a lot of knitting done. I'm also going to share my new workshops for the autumn for Black Sheep Wools in Warrington. I've got a special offer and a few other things I want to chat about today. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you're new here, my name is Anniken. I design knitting patterns, I teach knitting workshops online and in person, and I sell yarn through my website YarnAddict.co.uk. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. So if you've been watching the last 3 weeks, you will know that I reached 4,000 subscribers in May while I was on holiday. So I've done a 4,000 subscriber giveaway. The winner is username Beryl28, who commented on one of my last 3 podcast episodes. I chose it by a random number generator, just assigned everyone a number and put that into a random number generator and then just counted through the list. So Beryl28, I've been in touch with her and I'm just waiting for her to get back to me with which online course she would like to choose. We may have already sorted that out by the time this goes live. I'm filming this a bit earlier than normal because on Friday I'm teaching at the Knitting Hotel. So normally I film this on Thursday, but because I got dentist appointment and things on Thursday, I'm filming this on Wednesday because Thursday's going to be a little bit rushed. So I thought just make sure I got enough time to film it and edit it. I'm doing it on Wednesday. So hopefully I'll already have sorted out Beryl's price by Friday by the time this video goes live. I'm off to Black Sheep Wools in Cheshire in Warrington. I think that's Cheshire, isn't it? Warrington, very popular, huge yarn shop. Really excited. I haven't been before, so I'm really looking forward to visit the craft barn that they have. They have a big online shop and they also have a big in-person shop, so I'm really excited about visiting that. And I believe they also have a coffee shop there as well. So it sounds like a real destination shop and I'm really excited about it. I'm up there next week teaching 2 workshops. Now those are already sold out. They sold out as soon as they went live on their website. One of them sold out before I had a chance to promote it, and the other one sold out within maybe a couple of weeks, I think. And then one place came up for one of them a couple of weeks ago, and that sold out within a day, I think. I think the workshops will be up on the website on Friday, which is the day this goes live, and it's the day I send out my newsletter. But I have to edit this today and write my newsletter today, so I won't be able to include the links to my actual workshops, but I will put the link to the workshop page below. So if you're interested, do check it on Friday and see if it's there. So I'm teaching at Black Sheep Wools on 12th and 13th of September. I think I'm telling you the correct information, but I always double check when it's up on their website. But in my diary, I got 12th of September, which is a Friday. We're teaching Fair Isle cushion. So this cushion, my Love House cushion, which I'll talk more about in a minute, and also my Diamonds Are Forever cushion. You can choose from one or the other. And then on the 13th of September, so the next day on the Saturday, I'm teaching mosaic colorwork. You can choose between 2 projects. One is my mosaic scarf. I'm not going to put it on because I'm worried about my mic messing up. So that's my mosaic scarf. I also got a pair of mosaic hand warmers, which are a different stitch pattern. So you can choose from either of those for the mosaic colorwork workshop. And then I'm also teaching again in November. So November, 14th of November, I'm teaching my Selby mittens, which is Norwegian stranded colorwork mittens. I'll put a picture on the screen. And I think that's one of the workshops I'm teaching next week as well. And then on the 15th of November, I'm teaching brioche workshops. So I'm teaching my brioche basics workshop. So if you haven't knit a brioche before, or you need a bit of a refresher and confidence booster, then that'd be a perfect workshop for you. We'll go through all the basic brioche techniques, how to knit 2-color brioche, and it's a really good workshop. So, and brioche is something, even though I do have it as an online course, I do recommend you do it in person if you have the chance, because that is a much better way of learning brioche knitting, I think. This weekend I'm at the Knitting Hotel teaching this cushion and the Diamonds Are Forever cushion, and then I'm also back at the Knitting Hotel on the 26th of July. So the Knitting Hotel do weekend retreats, so from Thursday afternoon to either Sunday evening or first thing Monday morning, I think. And I'm teaching finishing techniques on the 26th of July. There may be spaces left, I'm not sure. They're usually fully booked, but they also take 1 or 2 off-site guests, either for the whole weekend or just for the day. So if you're interested in that, it might be worth contacting Belinda. Their website is always linked below. Just contact her through her website, or look up the Knitting Hotel on Instagram and contact her that way, because sometimes she has extra spaces for day guests. So, and I don't know whether it's fully booked or not. So if you're interested in that, get in touch. So I'm doing YarnAddict in September. I think I'm allowed to say that now. And I'm teaching. And I don't know whether the workshops are up yet. I need to check that. But I'm teaching, I think it's on the Sunday. I haven't actually put it in my diary, which is a bit of a problem. But I think I'm teaching in Tarsia, but I need to check if it's up on their website. If it is, I'll link it below. I also have another workshop in Yorkshire coming up in November, but I don't think I'm allowed to tell you yet. The workshops aren't up yet, but I've had a list with my dates and times. So November is going to be really, really busy, because I'm going to be in Warrington at Black Sheep Rules 1 week. Then I got to come back to Cornwall to teach a workshop in Devon, and then the next day I got to go back up to Yorkshire to teach for 3 days. It's a very big show in a very pretty town. I will tell you more as soon as I can, but if you are interested in workshops in Yorkshire, do make sure you subscribe to our newsletter. So Tuesday video this week was about Knitting Magazine issue 261 and my design in this issue. Let me just see if I can find it and quickly show you. That is my design in issue 261 of Knitting Magazine. That is in the shops in the UK now, and I did a separate video on that on Tuesday. So if you're interested in learning more about what's in that issue and my design, then go and check that out. The cover looks like that, and that is my design on the cover. It's knitted in West Yorkshire Spinners. Let me just... So that is some of the other designs in that issue. That's very pretty. So Simply Knitting has a great range of knits for the whole family, men, women, children, everything, and homewares, toys, novelty items, all that kind of stuff. That is some more pictures of my design. So the top part of it is knitted sideways, and then you pick up stitches and knit the rest down. And that's another picture of it. So that's in the new issue of Simply Knitting. I use West Yorkshire Spinners Pure DK, which is 100% Falklands wool, and it's really, really lovely. I'm not sure which issue this is. It just says July. Issue 265 it is. It's hidden there on the front page. So that's in the shops in the UK now. And as we're talking about Simply Knitting, I won't be mentioning this offer very much longer because it's nearly expired. It expires on 5th of July. Don't forget, I do have this special offer for Simply Knitting. So if you're interested, great all-around magazine with lots of variety in every issue. You can get 6 issues for £16, followed by £34.99 for every 6 issues thereafter. And that offer ends on 5th of July. And if you use my link below, I get a small commission on every subscription taken out using my link. So make sure you don't forget that if you're interested, because it's only a couple of weeks left before the subscription offer ends. Right, one more thing. I said that was the last thing, but one more thing before we start. My Love House cushion pattern is out now. Pattern is 25% off until end of June, and using the code LOVE25, so LOVE25, all one word. The discount details is also always on the pattern page. So you can buy the pattern from Payhip or Ravelry. I will link both pages below, and the discount details are on the actual pattern page. So if you choose to use the discount, if you choose to buy without the discount, then I'll be very, very grateful, because then obviously I make a bit more money. So I would be very grateful for that. But that is the Love House cushion. It includes a video tutorial for how to seam this cast on edge afterwards to get like a completely seamless finish or seamless look. So knit in the round, really pretty cushion. This is what I'm teaching on Friday at the Knitting Hotel, so I'm really looking forward to that. If you wanted the yarn for this cushion, the yarn is Yataghan Merino Cotton, which you can get from my online shop. I have quite a big selection at the moment, so there's a lot of choice. You need 2 balls of each colour, so 100 grams of each colour, and it's a very affordable yarn. So if you fancy knitting it in the same yarn I used, loads of different colours, do go and check out my website. It's YarnAddict.co.uk, and then just click on the Yataghan I'll link it directly in the notes below this video. Okay, so let's talk about what I've been knitting and crocheting this week. So let's talk about knitting first, I think. So I don't know if I've actually worked on this project this week because I haven't put a marker in where I was last week. I must try and put a marker in this week when I get downstairs. I can't remember where I was last week, but I thought I'd mention them because I might get some work in on them this week. So these are my opal socks. First sock's finished, and I am third of the way on the foot, I guess, on this one. I actually made a mistake on this one, and for some reason I thought normally I cast on 64 stitches for or rather when it's top, obviously cast on few here, but I increase that to 64 stitches, and if it's top down I cast on 64 stitches. But when I did the first sock, when I did the heel, which I was doing in the car, I ended up with more stitches than I normally have, and I couldn't quite work out why. So I thought maybe I knitted it on 68 stitches. Well, because I cast this on while we were in Bath, I think, a couple of weeks ago, I actually increased to 68 stitches. And then when I got home and had a look at my original sock, I realized I did actually have 64 stitches. I didn't have 68 stitches. So I just decreased, and I thought, oh, I'll just decrease if nobody will notice. But you can actually see it. You see here how it goes in a bit here and here. You see that? So it is visible. I just noticed that actually now. But I think once I'm wearing it, nobody's going to notice it. Plus, it's on my feet, so nobody looks that closely at my feet, do they? So I'd like to finish this one before I go to Norway in 3 weeks. 3 weeks today till I go to Norway. So I'd like to finish that sock before I go to Norway. But I also have other stuff I want to finish. So unless we go out somewhere this weekend or next weekend where I can finish this, when I'm going up to Warrington next week, I'm going to drive up on my own. And so driving that far, it's about 5.5 hours, I think, without stopping. I'm probably going to have to stop at least twice, maybe more on the way back, because I'm driving back after I finish teaching. So I'm going to be really, really tired. So I will probably take this with me to work on when I stop at the services, so that if I'm really tired and I just want to have a break, I can just knit on something that I don't really have to think about very much. So I would like to finish this before I go to Norway, but it just depends on how much out and about knitting I get done, because I'm not working on it in the house at the moment. The next sock project I cast on is my Mission Impossible socks. So on Saturday we went to see Mission Impossible. I undenied about whether to take the opal socks, but because the stitch pattern is 1 round knit, 1 round rib on the top of the foot, and I had to be able to count rows and so to get to where the afterthought heel is, because on the bottom of the foot it was stocking stitch, and around the leg it's all rib or garter rib rather. So I'd have to be able to count. Now I do have a row counter on my watch that it's an app. I got it on my phone as well, but I specifically bought it because I could have it on my watch. And I did have some problems getting it downloaded onto my watch, but the owner helped me a lot, and we got it sorted out. I think it may be a Norwegian-owned app. I'm not sure, but I've got a feeling it might be. But it is called My Row Counter. Yeah, My Row Counter. Got it on my phone. I don't think I've ever used it on my phone, but I have used the one on my watch quite a lot, especially when I go to the cinema, because I can just swipe up. It's right at the top on my watch here. I can just press that and then click, and that's it. So I quite like that because I can use that discreetly when I'm somewhere like a cinema, for example, and then I can see it, how many rounds I've knitted. So but also I would have to then, when I got to the heel on the other sock, I would have to be able to knit in the waste yarn, slip all the stitches back and knit them again. And I just decided it was probably a bit too likely to go wrong, and I've had cinema knitting go wrong in the first 5 minutes of a film before, and then not been able to knit for the rest of the time, and it's a bit frustrating. So I decided I would cast on a new sock for the cinema. So I cast on James C. Brett Funny Feet. I was going to say Happy Feet. Feet with a Z. I ripped the label. Hang on. Label looks something like that. I ripped it. I bought a spinning yarn, I think, earlier this year, or maybe last year, I can't remember. But I cast on Friday, I think, and knitted about 5 rounds on the leg. I've decided to go top down for this one, and I decided to do, I think I've done about 25 rounds of rib, and then stocking stitch for the rest of it. So when I did the 25 rounds of rib, I was counting that on my watch, and then once I got to the stocking stitch, I didn't bother counting the rounds. I think, if I remember correctly, I think your foot is normally the length from your wrist to your elbow, so the length of your forearm, and I like the leg to be about the same length as my foot. So I thought, if I want to make sure I don't knit too far, I can just basically measure it on my arm. But I managed to knit, let me have a look. So I managed to knit 88 rounds. So I did 5 rounds on Friday, and then Saturday we went to spin class, and then we went into Plymouth, did a bit of shopping, went to a coffee shop, and in the coffee shop I managed to knit 3 more rounds. So I got to there where that monkey marker is, put that in when we left for the cinema, knitted the rib up to here, and then I knitted the rest. Now, a couple of things. One, once I was on the stocking stitch, I was just counting stitches, and I thought I should have 32 stitches on each needle. I only have 31 on one of them. So I had a look when it was like a light scene on the screen. I held my knitting up because you can kind of see through the light, and to see if I could see an obvious place where I dropped it, and I couldn't. So I just increased the stitch on the needle that I knew I had 1 stitch less. So I just increased the stitch, and then when we got home I had a look, and I have indeed dropped the stitch here in the rib. I don't think it's unraveled very far. Doesn't look like I have lots of loose threads there, so I think I probably dropped it and then it's kind of more or less stayed where it is. Or maybe I dropped it just as I finished a rib, because I would have noticed it while I was knitting in rib, because my rib stayed correct. But anyway, it's unraveled 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds. So what I'm going to do is pick it up and then just weave it in at the top here on the wrong side. And I've still got the right number of stitches, because as soon as I realized that, I just increased, and I thought I will just carry on knitting. I couldn't see an obvious kind of big hole in my knitting, or feel a big hole, so I thought I'll just carry on. I've done I did 88 rounds at the cinema, and I did 8 rounds before that, so I've done a total of 96 rounds. Normally I'd like the leg to be about 90 rounds, but I'm going to make them 100, I think. And then I thought that all these stripes are not the same, but you got this thin one here. Those are about the same, the purple and the lighter blue one. And then you got this big green bit here. And so I looked at, I mean, obviously can't look at the yarn now because I wound it into a ball like that. Plus the ball it was wound in when I bought it doesn't really show you very clearly how it's going to knit up anyway. But it does on the label, it has that picture. And can you see in the middle there, it's got that wide blue bit. So I'm wondering whether the intention would be for that green bit to be where you put the heel in, like a short row heel or something. Well, that makes it a little bit short for the leg for my liking. So I think what I'm going to do, I was going to knit to done 100 rounds total and then put a waist yarn in for the afterthought heel. But I think what I'm going to do is not put the waist yarn in this time and just keep knitting and see how this colour works up. And if that's the only wide bit I get, I will put the heel in, the afterthought heel in here. But if I get another wide bit, then I might not. So I'll probably mark it when I get to 100 rounds, just so I know where that is, and then I will make a decision about where to put the heel in. I think I have a video on my channel showing how I do it, but I'm not sure if I have. I'll find it and link. If I remember, I'll link it below. But if not, when I eventually come to the heel on this, I might record it as a tutorial with a few tips for making sure a proper afterthought heel that you actually put in after you finish knitting the sock, that it ends up in the right place. So I might record that as a tutorial. I don't think I'm going to finish this sock before I go to Norway. I bought this yarn last time I was in Norway. Oh, here it is. I thought it was on my desk. I bought that yarn last time I was in Norway in this sale, and I bought enough to knit myself either a sweater, or if I hold it single strand, or if I hold it double, to knit myself a vest. So that's what I'm thinking about doing. So in the next, what did I say, 3 weeks till I go to Norway, I need to knit a swatch for that and work out whether I like to hold it single or double and write the pattern for it. And that's my knitting for when I go to Norway in July. Depending on how hot it is, because that's got mohair in it. If it's really hot, I may have to change plans. I left the yarn in Norway because I only had a backpack with me, and I'd already asked Simon to take some of my stuff in his carry-on suitcase. I didn't want to ask him to take more, but I also didn't want to not buy because I love that colour, and it was half price in this sale at my mum's local yarn shop. So I think I got 8 balls, which is enough for a sweater for me, for £36, and it is Dalagan, which is quite a nice yarn company, Norwegian yarn company, and it is mohair, silk and wool. So I just thought it was such a bargain that I bought it. If I decide when I get there that it's going to be too hot to knit on it this time because it's going to be July, and if there is a heat wave, then it might be too hot. Yesterday when I spoke to my mum, I think it was raining, so I don't know what the weather's going to be like. But if it is really hot when I'm there, I might not want to knit on that, in which case I could just leave it there till I go in the autumn and then knit it when I go. So I'll be going again in the autumn, I expect. Probably October, but I haven't booked anything yet. So I'm not sure what knitting I'm going to take with me to knit on the way to Norway. I am thinking if I haven't finished this sock, I might take that. I was thinking, because I'm travelling on my own this time, so I'm getting the train to London. I have a very long time at Stansted Airport, or I could choose to do something in London on the way. It just depends on how hot it is, I think, and whether my train is on time into London. But I might choose to do something in London, or I might go straight to Stansted, in which case I have a very long time there, because my flight is normally at 6 o'clock, but it's 6:45 this time, which means I'll be landing very late. And it means that I think there's only 2 trains leaving after my plane lands. So if my flight is delayed, I may be stuck at the airport for the night. My mum asked me yesterday what time I was arriving, and I didn't say about the fact that if my flight is delayed, I might get stuck there. I think there is a later airport express bus I can catch, but I prefer to catch the train if I can, because it's just much easier. So I am going to have a lot of time that day to knit, and I was thinking that maybe I would set myself a challenge to try and knit a sock in a day. So I was thinking if I can finish this before I go, I could knit the second sock. I was thinking if I decide to go ahead with this project, I might take this with me and start on it and knit as much as I can, and then carry on when I get to Norway. But I'm not sure. I got 3 weeks till I'm going, so a lot of stuff can happen those 3 weeks, because there is this other project that's on my needles, my little crochet project. So I moved it into a bigger bag because it was getting too big for my other bag that I was using. This bag is from Curated Yarn Co. Last year for her Advent, she included these bags, and I saw it on social media, on Instagram, in her Instagram stories, and I was like, oh, that's a really cool bag, I like that. So I messaged her and said, will you have those bags for sale? And she said, oh, I might do in the new year, I'm not sure yet, or something like that. Then I kind of forgot about it, and then at Unravel in February, she was in the same room as me. So she said, oh, by the way, you've messaged me about those bags. And I'm thinking, yeah, did I? Because I'd completely forgotten about it by February. She said, well, I do have some. So I went over and got one. She's added like a sticker to each of them with like a different quote on it. So this one says, ooh, look what you made me do. I just dropped the stitch. And then it's got I Created Yarn Co on the top. But it's see-through. I love these kind of bags. I just like see-through bags. I don't know why. So I decided to put my crochet project in here, because there's plenty of space. I can easily pull it in and out, and this can sit on the floor with the yarn next to me while I knit. So it's quite convenient, really. I have finally ordered some more yarn. I knew when I started I wouldn't have enough of the purple yarn. So I thought, I worked out that I probably need to order 4 balls. So I could get this wholesale, but I didn't want to order just 1 pack of yarn from my wholesaler. So I thought I will just order 4 balls retail. It's not that expensive a yarn. And then I didn't order it because I just want to make sure that it actually needed 4 balls and not more or less. And then Monday, I think it was, yeah, yesterday, I thought I really need to order this yarn. I had it saved on my phone. I'd put the 4 balls in my cart. I went to that shop, added another one, went to check out, and there was only 1 ball available. I was like, oh no. So I searched for it again. Obviously, when you search on Google now, you get all these sponsored links, and they don't have what I'm looking for. And it's really annoying because when you click on them, it takes you to some other random yarn that has nothing to do with what you're searching for. So I eventually found a yarn shop in Norfolk, I think it was. Let me see if I can find out what it's called. The yarn is due to arrive today, I think, because it was shipped yesterday and it said 24-hour shipping. No, it's not. I can't see it. It's not in my. I must have deleted the confirmation email, but I will. Once I receive the yarn, I'll probably talk about it next week. So I finished, I think last week I just finished the front and back of the top bit. So this is knitted top down. And once I got to the underarm, I carried on the front. And yeah, I carried on the front. So where that yellow marker is here, hang on. Let me just pull the markers through to the front so you can see it. So where that yellow marker is, can you see that? That's where the, can you see that? Yes, that's where the underarm is. So on the front, I've knitted, is that the front? Am I holding it? Oh no, that's the back. That's the right part. Okay, so on the back, I've knitted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 repeats. That's the way around it's supposed to be. That's the front. And then on the front, I've knitted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 repeats and 1 row of the pink. I need to change pink color soon. I basically knitted on the, I basically crocheted on the front till I ran out of the purple yarn. So I actually stopped mid-row here. I just put the stitch that was left on a one of these stitch markers just so it wouldn't unravel, and then I started doing the back because I wanted to be able to try it on to make sure it fitted. So last night I actually I was going to crochet the sides together, but I didn't. I just clipped them together with these on each side. Took 3 of those in on each side. I tried it on before I filmed this and it fits. This t-shirt is quite baggy and it fit fine on top of this t-shirt, and this t-shirt is quite loose fitting. It will relax a bit when I block it and smooth out a little bit, I think, but I'm really happy with it. I'm not going to put it on now because it'll mess with my microphone, but it does fit me, which I'm really relieved, and it doesn't look like it's too big. The sleeves at the moment I think come down to about here on me. I need to crochet on the edging. I think what I'm going to do is carry on with the back till I've run out of the purple yarn. I don't have a ton left of this ball, and then when I get the new yarn I might do the edging around the neck and the sleeve first, just so that that's done, because it's easier to try it on if your neckline is all finished. So I might do that first and then carry on the body. So I'll do as much as I can on the back, and then once I get the new yarn, do the neckline. I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to do the neckline yet. I have some ideas, but I need to work it out. And then carry on the front. I'll probably carry on the front and then do a bit on the back and then alternate till I get it the right length. But once I finish this ball, I want to work out exactly how many more repeats I need to do. And then I'm going to time myself to see how much I can crochet in an hour, and then work out how much I need to crochet a day to finish it. I'd really love to finish this before I go to Black Sheep Wools next Thursday, because I need to block it. That realistically means I need to finish it by Tuesday evening, which I don't know whether that's realistic, because I was thinking then I could wear it, but if it's as warm as it is now, I'm not going to want to wear it except for maybe in the evening. But I really like it. So I was sitting here thinking the other day when I was crocheting away, and I really like the way this is coming up. So I was thinking, I fancy making this again. I was also thinking about what I'm wearing when I go to Norway. So I have loads of clothes in Norway. So I don't bring a lot of clothes with me. I just bring what I'm wearing. But I was thinking, what shoes and bags should I take with me? Because I normally take wear a pair of trainers. And I was thinking I wanted to wear my silver trainers and I have a small silver handbag to wear when I'm traveling. If I want to wear this, which was my plan, was to take this with me, that doesn't really go with my silver, but I do have some yarn that does go with my silver. Watching a few weeks ago when I was talking about starting this, I was talking about using this grey yarn. I have 10 balls of this grey yarn, so I would have had enough. I also really like that colour. So what I'm thinking, I kind of wish I'd done it on that one, but what I'm thinking is doing another one, and on the top use that as the main colour and that as the accent colour. So let me just pick this up again. So the top till the underarm probably. What's purple here would be that colour, and the pink bit here would be that colour. And I feel like I should have done that on this one. I should have made pink the main colour on the top and then reversed it either below the bust or at the underarm, and then have that as the main colour and that as the accent colour. I decided to wear my silver trainers and take my silver bag, and the bag I have in Norway, one is a light blue, pale blue colour, and I also have a slightly bigger black one. And I was thinking those colours go much better, but also if it's hot, I may not actually wear the sweater there. So what I like to do is, I know I'm probably crazy, but what I like to do is try and finish this before I go to Black Sheep Wools next week. If I haven't finished it, I'll take it with me and try and finish it in the evenings, and then see if I can make another one before I go to Norway. What do we think? Possible? No? Yes? No? I'm a little bit not sure because I also have a deadline. I have two magazine deadlines before I go to Norway. One my sample knitters is working on, so I can't remember what she is knitting for me at the moment. So I can't remember how much finishing there is for me to do, but I will need to finish that when it comes back. I also have another sample that's due in August, and I need to get that off to one of my sample knitters before I go to Norway. So I need to sort that out. And then I have this other sample that I'm knitting. And the reason I decided to knit it rather than ask one of my sample knitters is because the yarn is, I would say, a little bit more challenging to knit with. It's looking beautiful. I was going to cast on like 2 weeks ago, and I just kept putting it off and putting it off. And finally this weekend I was like, I need to cast on. So on Sunday I started a cast on, nearly finished a cast on. Then my daughter rang, and I thought, well, I can't count and concentrate while I'm talking to her. So I put it down and did my crochet. And then yesterday evening I was like, no, I got to pick this up, because I did during the day I only crocheted, and then in the evening I was like, no, I got to get started on this because I'm not going to finish it otherwise. It's a sleeveless top, it's fairly short, it's a size 10, it should be fairly quick, but it's also very thin yarn and very thin needles. So I will finish the rib today, and then once I'm on the stocking stitch in the round, it should be fairly quick to knit, I hope. So for this next week, I need to really focus on that, which means I may not finish that crochet before I go to Black Sheep Wools. And if I don't finish it, then I may not be able to do this one. So I don't know whether to finish that one or whether to start this one. I'm also thinking, because I haven't written up the pattern is just some very, very sketchy notes on my phone. I'll show you, you'll be horrified. So the pattern for the crochet top at the moment is that. That is everything I've got to go from. I also drew out the chart on in a notebook and took a picture of it. So that's my stitch pattern. And then I crocheted a swatch, and I've been carrying the swatch in my bag, so if I need to refer to it for the stitch pattern, I can do, which I don't need to do now because I've memorized them, because I worked on it every day. I haven't needed to refer to that really. So that is my pattern. So I might next week, if I get time, actually sit down and write up the pattern properly, and then knit the second sample from the pattern, and then decide whether I want to release it as a pattern or not. It's a fairly simple design, fairly simple shape. Did that deliberately just to make life easier for myself. But I'm really pleased with it so far, and I really like to make another one, and I really like to make the other one before I go to Norway. If not, but I was also thinking, if I don't take my silver shoes and my silver bag, I have a pink bag that goes really nicely with that colour. I could take that instead and wear my black trainers or my white trainers. depending on what the weather's like. So yeah, I'm kind of bitten by the crochet bug at the moment. So watch this space. I'll tell you next week what I've decided to do. Right, I think that's it. I'm starting to ramble a bit now, so I think we'll leave it there. I don't think I've got anything else I want to share with you. No, just don't forget the special offer for Simply Knitting, 6 issues for £16, followed by £34.99 every 6 issues thereafter. Valid until 5th of July, and I earn a commission on each subscription sold using my link below. 25% of this Love Hearts pattern will be linked below. 25% off the pattern is valid until the end of June, and the discount code will be on the screen and is also on the pattern page. And the yarn you can get from YarnAddict.co.uk is Yatagon Cotton Merino, and you need 2 balls of each colour. There's a huge selection of colours. I think that's it, and do check out Black Sheep Wools if you're interested in workshops up north in September and November. I'm really excited. I'm hoping to do a bit of vlogging when I go up next week to share with you, but we'll see how busy it gets. That's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing and help me get to 5,000 subscribers when we will do another giveaway. Love to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of this year. So if you haven't subscribed yet and you enjoyed it, please do subscribe. There will be some tutorials coming up. I'm filming another one today, I think. I've also filmed a couple other videos. There'll be a weekly vlog hopefully next week, and in July there will be a bit of Norway content again, so do watch out for that. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.